and welcome to the next Lukozer retro game review video. And this one is Space Taxi, which was released by Muse Software. That's a publisher I'm not familiar with. I can only assume that they are an independent lot. Could even have just come along as a result of the need to release this one game. Now, as you can see from this demo mode, some of the levels in this game are a little short of fucking downright evil. But the idea of the game is to take your taxi, land on the pads where the passengers are, and take them to the pad that they want to go to. All sounds quite simple, and indeed the first couple of levels it is quite simple, but later levels do get more than a little devious. I don't know how to get out of, there we go, I'll get out of that one. So anyway, this game came out in 1984 and was written by John Kutcher. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. It might be Kutcher. In fact, the more I look at it, I think it is John Kutcher. And as you've heard, there is speech involved. Well, yeah, I suppose involved. But there is speech in the game. And unlike any other Commodore 64 game of the time, the speech in this version actually is digitized. It's not synthesized, and it's actually a digitized recording of John Kutcher's own voice. So I think he was fairly young when he was writing this game. I think he was only about like 18 or 19 or something. So he was still at university when he was writing it. And as well as obviously, you know, coming up with the game and the code for the game itself, he also came up with the recording system, which meant basically putting together the actual electronics themselves to record his own voice to use in this game. Now, okay, it's not the clearest speech you've ever heard, but the fact that it is digitized as opposed to synthesized certainly makes it stand out quite a bit, or at least it does for me. So anyway, let's get a game underway, and we'll show you what this is all about. Now you can have it has a select number of cabbies. In fact, that's number of players, so it's just the one. For some reason there we go. Right, and then select the shift. I will go with morning shift for the beginner because, say, the later levels do get pretty tricky, and I'm not what you would call fantastic at this game. So off we go. So the physics on the actual taxi themselves work in much the same way as games like Lunar Lander or Jupiter Lander, as the Commodore 64 cartridge-based game was. Once you've extended the landing pad, you can only thrust upwards or downwards. You can't go side to side. As you've just seen, if you pick up a passenger and they want to go up, that means you then have to leave the level. Otherwise, you just take them to the pad number that they ask for. Now you can land fairly hard, but you do have to be a bit careful. I think that was overcautious there, but there you go. So on the bottom there is the status panel, and you can see number of lives, the amount you've earned in fares. Then just above where it says "Hey Taxi" is your fuel gauge, because you do have a limited amount of fuel. Then, alright, so we're going on to the next level. And you can see the countdown with the money there. That is obviously how much you will earn from the fare. The faster you do it, the more you earn. If the ride is fairly smooth and it's a good landing, you can earn a tip, so you do earn a bit extra. It's handy when they appear on the pad that you are already landed at, because you don't have to stay on the pad and wait around, but I do, purely to save fuel. Now you do also have to be careful when you are approaching the landing area. If you hit the passenger, you kill him, and you're obviously not going to get a fare as a result. You have to also watch out when you're lowering your landing gear. You can't lower it too close to the landing pad, otherwise it causes the taxi to go and crash, which we do not want. Taxi trainer, I think this is the first level that's a bit tricky. Yes, it is. So pad 1. Because all those like struts or beams or whatever, yeah, your ship will be destroyed if you fly into them as well. That's certainly handy. Pad 2's over here. Now here you'll see there's also a refueling pad, which is quite handy. I got a decent fare for this one, so I'm up to 120.96, which actually sounds like I'm doing quite well, but to be honest, getting over 100 is easy. Realise if you can't get at least 100, then this is not the game for you. So the passenger will stay there until the countdown on how much you will make from the fare gets to 0, and then he'll bugger off, or if you hit him with the taxi. If the fare keeps going down to 0, then you know, while you're taking the passenger, that was a bit of a hard landing, you will still earn a little bit in tips, but you won't actually get anything for the fare itself. A bit of a hard landing there as well. I think I've already said that if you land too hard, the taxi is destroyed. So yeah, you do have to watch your landings somewhat. There we go. Yeah, this one might be a bit tricky because I've got to avoid him, but also not hit any of the... that was a hard landing as well. Well, that's easy enough because 8 is just below me here. I just noticed my fuel is very low. Yeah, I'm now getting the fuel warning. Now he'll call out again when I land here. Yeah, but It does cost money to refuel. Notice the amount of money I've earned was going down while I was refueling there. But now we have to try and make our way over to pad 9. So let's get on with the up to the next level. Actually getting there is a bit tricky because this I don't have a lot of space to manoeuvre. But there we go. This level is the first of the levels where things are moving around on it. So obviously pad 1 is the first place we have to take in because there are no other pads here yet. But as you can see, there are... yeah, I was coming in way too hard. There are other pads growing out of the beanstalk. And he is standing in a bloody awkward place because I've got to avoid him while trying to get in here. There we go. Bloody hell. And I've now got to go all the way around the fucking beanstalk to take him to pad 4. Coming in a bit hard there. That was close. It's putting them all in bloody awkward places. Alright, that's all of the pads now grown. Well, I haven't got to go too far. I would have preferred it if it was pad 9 or even 8. Oh, fuck. So anyway, let's get the review underway then. The graphics are, for the most part, fucking grotesque. Earlier levels, it's using like, you know, the graphics. It wasn't completely on the pad. It's using graphics from the character graphics from, you know, the shift or Commodore key adjusted actual keyboard presses that we often saw in cassette 50 games. So, I mean, yeah, okay, graphically it does look like a cassette 50 game, but thankfully that is where the similarity ends. The audio, okay, it's some very basic tunes and jingles. Other than that, it's really the thrusters from the taxi and, of course, the digitized speech, which, as I say, is not super clear, but it's quite impressive the way it's been done. So yeah, I don't mind the speech at all. Please want to go up. Actually, I'm not in too big a hurry to go up because the next level is even more of a bastard than this one. Yeah, there we go. So the next one is Taxi Pong. This is as far as I get. I've never been able to get past this level. Because it looks simple enough, but yeah, you've got this ball bouncing around. Yeah, because I've then got to get away from that ball before it hits the pad that I'm on. Hurry up. Yeah. I think this is going to be it. This is my last life. So right, that's graphics and sound covered, and the gameplay, it will surprise no one. I think the gameplay is fucking superb. It shouldn't surprise you anyway. It's again proper old school gaming. So yeah, I am a big fan. Yeah, I just cannot get anywhere on this level. Now, I must admit, when I first played it, I wasn't a huge fan. I thought it was okay, but yeah, you notice that the scores are a bit buggered up. So for some reason I become VLU Lukozer, but there you go. Anyway, yes, the first time I played it, I thought it was okay, but I just couldn't really get on with it. I think because I was making the stupid, I mean, yeah, I mean that, but I also mean the stupid mistake of not really giving it the sort of attention it deserved, simply because I thought it looked awful. I mean, yeah, okay, these graphics are fucking hideous, but that is, I've said it often enough, so I can't believe I made the mistake myself of assuming that because it looks fucking horrible, I then instantly thought, oh well, the game must be shit as well. Because there's no reason to think that. Well, unless it's on cassette 50, in which case you know that the game is going to be every bit as shit as it looks. That's a bit of an overcautious landing there. So what do I score it? So I think it is great. I will score it 8.5 out of 10. And I highly recommend you giving it a go. There you go. So anyway, that'll do for this one then. So that is Space Taxi. 8.5 out of 10. Well worth having a go. Ignore the shit graphics. Focus on the gameplay, because the gameplay is fantastic. So that brings this video to an end, and we will see you at the next one.